Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head, Gina Carano, although I don't mind that one. Cancel culture is going crazy. It's sort of started off as a bit of a joke, and now it's becoming the norm. People are being cancelled left and right. Roseanne was cancelled. Some people come back from cancellation, some don't. Like the news reporter that participated in the Donald Trump grab and by the you-know-what tape, he was cancelled, but he managed to come back to work. James Gunn was cancelled, but he was cancelled for things he did a long time ago that he'd already apologised for, so he came back, so I'm okay with that, because it's not like he was like apologising after he got in trouble. He already said, I shouldn't have done that, blah, 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 and then people pulled them up later and used them against him, and they were sort of out of context at that point, so I'm okay with him. Gina Carano, I don't think she is transphobic or intended to do any harm, but once her comments were doing harm, she didn't do anything to stop that. And I think that kind of made her part of it. So I don't, and she knew what she was doing. She knew the company she worked for was left as hell, and she still, threw the right-wing stuff in their face just to torment them and cause trouble, because she was getting a lot of attention for it and a lot of clicks and pats on the back. But ultimately that was her employer, and if they don't want to employ a troublemaker that doesn't share their views and isn't promoting their views and is actually promoting against their views, they have every right to get rid of the person. So I have no problem with what they did there. I got a bit SJW about it. I'm a recovering social justice warrior. I am. I'm trying my best to be a centrist and not take either side and actually look at both sides fairly. But I have my bad moments. I have my hater moments. I have my SJW moments. I swing both ways sometimes. And I was enjoying her going down. I really was like, having a little ding dong, which is dead dance moment, which was a bit, undignified. So I had to pull my head out of that and look at it a bit more and calm down. But, okay, Dr. Seuss. They banned 6 of his books. And to think I saw it on Mulberry Street, if I ran the zoo, Ellie Gus's pool. I can't read my handwriting. On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs. The Cat's Super Quizzer. Those are the books that were all banned. Now, these were actually basically the company that makes these books said, look, we're not going to produce these books anymore. We think they're racially insensitive or offensive, and we just don't want to produce them anymore. And that's fair. They're the ones producing them. They're going to get the criticism. If they own the license but they're not making money out of it, that's okay. They don't have to. I'm not that bothered by that. But what does bother me is that as soon as this happened, of course, the book started to go for higher price on eBay. Now, I think that's a little shitey, scalping people like, oh, people are going to try and get this book now. I'm going to put it up. I do think that is just tacky. I really hate it when people do that. I think you should just charge a fair price and let people get stuff and not be gouged. I don't think because you can make money out of people that you should. I know that's just the antithesis of capitalism and the whole American culture, which is their problem. But I kind of feel that way. So I didn't like that people were sort of scalping the books. But what eBay has done is they've actually put them on their offensive material listing for negative or hateful impact, or hateful imagery or whatever. So if you try and list one of those books, or if you've got it listed, they delisted all the ones that were listed and gave the people back their money for the fees to get charged to list the books. And they've actually stopped anyone. So if you try and list it, they will give you a nice little message saying basically that you can't do this. And then they'll give you a second message saying, we've refunded your money, you haven't got any trouble, but if you do it again, there will be negative impact on your account. So I don't know what that means, because I don't sell on eBay. I don't know what they can do to you, but if you try and sell it, you're going to get in trouble. So I have no idea how anyone's going to sell any of these books, but I like the idea to stop people gouging, but the idea that eBay's saying what you can and can't sell, and saying that something is, like really negative, hateful material when it's really not. I mean, as far as I can tell, I haven't read the books. I've seen some images. Now, some I do find, I understand why they're offensive. Okay, I've seen some early art from Dr. Seuss where it's that old stereotype of the black people with the tiny little black heads and the big giant red lips. And I don't know if those images were used in the actual books, but obviously he was drawing that sort of character and that, so I sort of get why that's offensive and why I kind of get that. But there was someone put up a post which made a point. It was like an Asian guy basically saying, because this cartoon had a traditionally Asian-looking guy, or stereotypically Asian-looking person, as you may consider it, wearing like the like the little sandals with the all the thongs with like the little wooden bits, and just the traditional sort of outfit. And then he was saying, I eat with sticks, because he eats with chopsticks. I know plenty of Asian people that eat with chopsticks. I know plenty that wear the traditional outfits at certain times, and wear semi-traditional stuff just casually because they have an appreciation of their culture and their history. And it's like, some of it's a bit of a fashion thing, other people it's usually just related to ceremonies or costume or whatever. But this person was basically saying, I eat with sticks. Am I offensive? Like, what's wrong with that? And I'm like, I can see how some of this is not really that offensive, and I don't understand why. And if you're offended, and this is the whole issue with cancel culture, if you're offended by that, you don't have to look at it. Other people, if they're not offended by it, and there's other things about, say, that book or a film or whatever, and that they like Breakfast at Tiffany's, I find the scene in that with Mickey Rooney playing the Asian guy ugly and offensive and disgusting. I have a version of that film with that edited out. I don't watch the real one. But if you want to watch the real one, I think you should be able to. I think you should get a bit of a warning. Like, I remember the scene in what was the Bruce Lee film about Bruce Lee's life? Basically, he went to see Breakfast at Tiffany's with his then girlfriend. She's laughing her head off, and then she looks at him, and he's just like, because she didn't even think of that stereotype and how that offended him. So that was the 60s. We all know what the film is now. But if you want to put a disclaimer on it so people know if they're woke and they're trigger easy, they don't have to watch it. But if that's like their favourite film or their favourite book and something they want to read to their kid or whatever, or watch, I think they should have the right to. So the idea of actually banning things, actually stopping people from selling stuff on eBay, I think is wrong. Now, if this was some sort of Hitler book saying, kill the Jews or something, well, yes, no, don't sell that on eBay. If it was like a how to blow up a mosque kit or something, no, don't sell that on eBay. But a book by a kid's author with outdated stereotypical images, I really think that's pushing it, banning it. If you don't want to produce it anymore, as the publisher, I kind of get that. They bought it to make money. They've made money out of it. They don't sort of the balance of, the amount of crap we're going to get from people who are offended by it versus the people who are going to buy it because they like it and it's a classic. Fine, it's up to them. But to say, no, you can't sell it, you can't buy it, that's where they're crossing the line, absolutely crossing the line. Just like taking down Gone with the Wind a little while ago, they took that down. Have huge problems with that. They put it back up with the disclaimer, fine, but they should never have taken it off. They should have just put the disclaimer up and kept it up while they were putting together their disclaimer. Now, Turner Classic Movies did something where they, I thought they were banning a bunch of movies. They listed Psycho, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Gone with the Wind. I knew why Gone with the Wind and Breakfast at Tiffany's were considered outdated or offensive, but I don't think Gone with the Wind is. I think it's okay to have a fantasy that, it's not a documentary, it's not a historical film, so I think it's okay to exclude certain ugly parts of history so that you can enjoy the fantasy of an era of the past, even if it's not totally accurate to what it actually is. I think people actually have a right to that, especially one that already exists. Maybe it might be a bit tacky to make one now, but Gone with the Wind already exists, so I had an issue with that. Now, Psycho, it took me a minute, I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, Norman dresses up in a dress. But he's not a transsexual, he's not a trans woman, he's none of those things. It's nothing to do with sexuality. He's just trying to create the illusion of his mother being alive. That's why he wears this horrible dress and this stupid wig and he looks ridiculous. And it's part of the story, it's part of the character. It's not something they just pulled out at the end to shock the audiences because, people transgressing sexuality is like terrifying or something. It's not like the end of what's that summer camp movie where they have the boy that's really a girl and at the end they show the girl with the penis and it's like horrific and everything. I wouldn't compare it to that. I don't think that's equal to that. But the good thing about them, they weren't banning it. They were just doing a series on these movies and talking about these issues. And the idea was, I think over a couple of days or each day there was going to be a different special on each movie, basically saying how these things were filmed one way, intended one way, and now they are one way or look another way, or how time looks at them now. That's okay. Educating people about film history and context and how things look now, that's fine. And having, I think, disclaimers so people who are sensitive and woke and trigger easy, can be warned and not like walk into something and then get all upset and complain and cause a stink. If they walk into it knowing what it is, it's their own fault. They're asking for it. So I do think that's okay. And at first I thought they were banning. I'm like, how can Turner Classic Movies ban? Oh my God, what the hell? I'm like, no, they're just explaining the context of them. Exploring them. And that's good. That's intelligent. That's educational. I'm fine with that. So, yeah, so that's my line. I think you need to just put things in context, explain, but make them available to the people who want them, because I think people still have a right to the films they've grown up with or the books they've grown up with, or the realities and the worlds or the fantasies they want to live in. I don't think anyone has the right to dictate to anyone, say, you have to look at history this way, you have to look at reality this way, you have to look at things in this political and this ideological and blah, 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 blah. It's really not up for you to tell me how to watch anything or how to view something or how to value something. So long as you're not forced to, just mind your own business. That's my official opinion on cancel culture. Unless it's affecting you and it's obviously detrimental, like if someone is physically abusing someone or, making their life a living hell on a workspace or something like that, or sexually harassing them, those are things you cancel people for, not for artistic decisions or beliefs. That's just ridiculous. That's getting into just scary territory. So I just want to talk about that because I saw that and I thought, wow, they're actually banning people buying and selling these books. So it's total censorship. It's not a matter of, well, we don't want to print it because we think it's outdated, and obviously we have other books we can print. We don't need to print this. We think it's had its day. That's fine. But to say, no, you can't buy it, you can't sell it, especially people who've already bought them to sell them, I think that's lost revenue. There's all sort of complicated issues here. And I think cancel culture is going too far. It's going too crazy. It was created for a reason. It had a purpose. But unfortunately, it's just, it's a monster has been created. It's running rife through the world. I forgot Mr. Potato Head. Didn't even mention Mr. Potato Head. And of course, we can't forget poor Mr. Potato Head. I didn't understand the Mr. Potato Head thing because Mr. Potato Head was already like asexual in a way, because you could make him a female, a male, you could change him around. He wasn't set in what he had to be. So I don't understand why they had to make him gender neutral when he already was gender fluid. You could make him anything. There were already variations. There was Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, there were the potato children. I mean, I don't understand why they had to do that. Now, I don't think it actually alters the product. It's really just the name, the branding. But still, it's just an extra level of WTF. So, yeah, cancel culture, it's getting crazy. I don't know what's next. I don't know where this is going. I think it needs to stop. It needs to be reserved for real things that are a real problem. And that's part of the problem with this. When you try and cancel everything, it undermines the real attempts to cancel real damaging, problematic things. So, yeah, I don't know where this is going, but I just got to finish this video. I just stopped and started 3 times because of issues. But yeah, I just had to talk about the cancel culture thing. Like each time something's come up, I thought I should talk about that, but before I could, a new thing came up, and then a new thing, and there's so many things. It's just I can't keep up with everything's being cancelled, and that's part of the reason. Part of the problem is that it's just gone crazy. But I'm gonna go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I just want some sense to come back to the world, so we can just focus on the important things, the real problems, not just every little thing that upsets people. A lot of people, they really just have a psychology where they just want to be upset. They get some sort of adrenaline rush out of being a victim, and it's all about them. It's not about the issue. The issue is interchangeable, and this is a real problem with real people. I really think we need to get a real grip on this and focus on what's really important. I'm actually going to go. Thanks. Bye.